Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're heading to the remote, rocky Greek island of Ikaria. Now, it's got that classic picture postcard beauty you'd expect, right? But there is something entirely different happening here. This is a place where people don't just live to be 100 years old, they absolutely thrive. We're talking about a community where folks in their 90s and 100s are still fast on their feet, where they're dancing at local fiestas, and yeah, where they're even still flirting.
So what is the secret to living past 100? Let's dive right into this mystery. We need to figure out exactly what it is about this rugged landscape that creates such astounding vitality. I mean, it's so profound that scientists are literally taking DNA samples from the residents to try and crack the code. How do they do it with so much energy?
Okay, part one, a medical mystery.
To uncover this, we gotta look at the hard data. Cardiologist Dr. Christina Chrysohoou and her team ran this landmark 4-year study tracking the island's older residents, and man, it threw a massive curveball at conventional medicine. Look at the raw numbers. Scientists found that Icarians live at least 10 years longer than the rest of us. But here's the kicker. It's not just about lifespan, it's about health span. These extra years come with radically lower rates of serious, debilitating illnesses like heart disease. They aren't just surviving. Their bodies are fundamentally resisting the decay we normally associate with getting older.
And it gets even crazier. As Dr. Chrysohoou ran her tests, she discovered elderly patients whose vascular aging, the physical age and condition of their blood vessels, is up to 20 years younger than their actual biological age. Just imagine that for a second. Being 100 years old, but walking around with the heart and arteries of an 80-year-old. It completely defies what medical science expects to see.
Which brings us to the ultimate medical miracle happening on this island. Almost zero signs of dementia. None. These people are arriving at the very end of their long lives with all their faculties completely intact. Take 99-year-old Evangelica, for example. She reels off these century-old family stories with incredible sharpness, literally as if she were still 20. They are sharp right up to the end. And honestly, that's what we all want, isn't it?
Dan Buettner, the best-selling author who identifies blue zones, those rare places with the highest life expectancies, points out something super interesting. While the absolute maximum human life expectancy right now sits at about 92, the Icarians are hitting that benchmark better than any other population. And the truly fascinating part, it seems completely effortless. Like Buettner points out, none of these centenarians ever actively tried to live to be 100. Longevity just happened to them.
Moving on to part two, the extreme Mediterranean diet.
Let's look at the fuel powering this incredible lifespan. Because obviously, what we put into our bodies really matters. But Ikaria has a very specific take on local nutrition. Notice what's surprisingly absent here. Fish. You'd think an island population would practically live on seafood, right? Well, the early centenarians actually lived inland, a full day's journey from the sea just to stay safe. So they focused heavily on a wildly extreme plant-based diet. We're talking local potatoes, beans, and wild greens, absolutely drenched in essential olive oil. Meat? Super rare, maybe a little chicken or goat, and zero processed supermarket food. When they make a chicken soup, it's just chicken, rice, lemon, salt, and pepper. That's the whole shebang.
But it's not just the food, it's what they're drinking. Local restaurant owner Thea Parakos explains that the wild herbs growing all over the island have incredibly strong properties. They brew this staple daily drink called combo tea. It's used specifically to treat chest issues, asthma, and colds, and it's widely considered one of the absolute main ingredients for a long life in Ikaria. They are literally brewing their daily medicine straight from the weeds in their backyard.
Oh, and we absolutely cannot talk about what they drink without talking about the wine. Take 100-year-old Gregorius. Now, he's not exactly your typical modern wellness influencer. He still lights up a cigarette and downs bowls of ice cream. But when asked for his secret, he swears that the red wine makes you stronger. And you know what? Scientists actually agree. Their local habit of enjoying 2 to 3 glasses of wine a day is likely the optimal sweet spot for longevity.
All right, part 3, the geography of fitness. But let's be totally clear here. Diet is only one piece of the puzzle. We have to look at the rugged environment that shapes their physical resilience. See, their geography forces them into something modern gym-goers pay big money for: constant, functional, daily movement. Dan Buettner highlights a really stark contrast here. Ikaria is about 50 kilometers off the coast of Turkey. It's incredibly remote and was completely untouched by American food culture. This isolation bred serious resilience. Buettner notes that our modern Western culture is pretty much defined by this incessant reaching for more and more comfort, and that might actually be harming us. In Ikarian culture, a little bit of hardship actually tempers human life.
You literally have to walk and climb steep hills every single day just to see your neighbors or grab your groceries.
95-year-old Christodoulos perfectly grounds this data for us. He's still out there, as agile as his goats, climbing that rugged terrain. When someone asked him for his longevity advice, he hilariously recommended simple hardships. He suggests a hard bed, not indulging in too much of the good life, and then jokingly adds not too much sex. It's this profound, folksy acceptance that an overly pampered life just makes for a fragile body. Which brings us to part 4, the power of community.
So even with the perfect plant-based food and those natural daily hill climbs, there's a third, kind of intangible element holding this entire longevity equation together. And it actually has nothing to do with diet or exercise. Let's look at their social structure. In standard Western culture, we tend to segregate generations, right? But in Ikaria, during their regular fiestas and daily gatherings, there are absolutely no lines of separation. There is no kids' table pushed into the corner. The generations are entirely blended. They share the exact same space, the same conversation, the same energy. The elderly are deeply, deeply woven into the daily fabric of the youth.
In fact, scientists can see that this social structure might just be the ultimate secret that eludes all their blood tests and DNA swaps. Because the generations are so integrated, nobody ever feels left out, nobody is ever left alone, and nobody feels useless. They remain a vital, useful part of the community right up until the very end. Maintaining that endless purpose actively lowers the mental stress and depression that we know are notorious for sparking disease in the body.
Finally, part 5, the Icarian blueprint.
So how do we take this 9,000-year-old magic and actually apply it to our modern, crazy busy lives? Let's distill this astounding culture into a few direct, actionable takeaways you can use today. As you can see perfectly outlined here, their longevity really boils down to 3 pillars. First, eating from the earth. Ditch the processed foods, focus on whole local plants, use great olive oil, and hey, don't be afraid of herbal teas and a little local wine. Second, move naturally. Stop seeking endless comfort and embrace a bit of daily physical hardship. Walk more. And third, never eat alone. Ensure that family, community, and multi-generational ties are prioritized over nonstop career ambitions, which really secures your sense of purpose.
Even Dan Buettner himself admitted that uncovering these secrets completely shifted his own focus from his career back to his family. The evidence is clear across all these factors we've explored today. True longevity isn't found in some magic pill. It's found in natural food, daily movement, and deep, lifelong connections. So I'm going to leave you with this final, vital question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Are you willing to trade a little bit of your modern comfort to unlock the secret of living well past 100?